Now, the wealth transfers at marriage are one aspect of marriage. Another important matter is who marries and what proportion of people marry. Looking at the proportion, our society for some time has had a selective marriage system. That is to say, some people have married and some people haven't. Most human societies, though, have universal marriage. There are, Malinowski tells us about the Trobriands, in fact, no unmarried men of mature age except idiots, incurable invalids, old widowers, and albinos. In Moorish society, it was believed that only if you married could you go to paradise. A bachelor went to the equivalent of hell. Generally speaking, in primitive societies, there are no bachelors, or very, very few, and very few unmarried women, simply for the reason that they could not, we are told, survive. A Borrow man, described by Levi-Strauss, of 30, was described as unclean, ill-fed, sad, and lonesome. And the reason that Levi-Strauss was given for this was that in a society where labor is systematically shared between man and woman, where only the marriage status permits the man to benefit from the fruits of women's work, including delousing, body painting, and hair plucking, as well as vegetable food and cooked food, in such a society, a bachelor is really only half a human being. In this kind of society, marriage is not something which you decide to do. It is something which automatically comes. It's like birth, marriage, death. It's a natural event, a life cycle stage. Those who do not marry are ridiculed and derided, for example, among the Todas of the Nilgiri Hills in India. Marshall writes, "Every man and every woman, every lad and every girl is somebody's husband or wife, tied at the earliest possible age." The only two major civilizations where this isn't universal are Buddhist societies of Central Asia, in Tibet and other areas where celibacy is highly valued, and Christian civilizations which model themselves on their own bachelor savior, and where the medieval Catholic Church valued virginity and celibacy above all other virtues. This is, in fact, very unusual, and our own pattern of deciding, and each person deciding whether they are going to enter this state, is cross-comparatively peculiar. Equally peculiar is the age at which people marry in Western societies. Although there are some exceptions, it can generally be said that in most civilizations in the past and in the other parts of the world, people have married as soon as possible, particularly women. In extreme cases, for example, in some Australian tribes, you have infant marriages or even pre-birth marriages. People are married, the infant in the womb is married to someone. In Toda, the Todas of South India, even a boy yet unborn may become a husband of another woman. More characteristically, the mean age of marriage for women is at puberty or just before. In India, it was 14 or 15. This is to encourage childbearing and to avoid the shame and scandal of having an unmarried yet fully mature female around in the society. Again, in our own society, we now marry characteristically in the West between 20 and 25. In the past, in the last few centuries, often the ages were even higher, 25 to 30. And this long gap of 10 years between puberty and marriage, combined with many people unmarrying, known as the European marriage pattern, is cross-comparatively strange. It has many effects, of course. It means the population grows much more slowly, because you have 10 years of no marriage, and in Christian civilization this tended to mean of no childbearing. You have social and psychological effects. People who for 10 years are capable of sexual intercourse leading to children and yet are banned by the system. And hence there are theories about the frustration and the effects on the patterns of authority. This peculiarity goes with another one of Western societies, which is related to the system of how many people you marry.